Welcome back. When Jim Huntley joined the Canadian Forces in the late 1950s during the Cold War, he was excited to be a part of a secret mission. Trucked into a desert in the United States, he was told to face something unimaginable, not knowing what the fallout would be. Here is the story of an atomic war veteran who is fighting for justice.
No, we didn't know where we were going. We were getting on a plane and going to the United States.
It was a time of Cold War, and Canada didn't want to be left out.
We were in Las Vegas, and then we got on a bus, and the fellow driving the bus told us where we were going. And that's the first we knew that we were going on the atomic test.
Fighting men must be taught survival on an atomic battlefield.
Jim Huntley is of Scottish and Anishinaabe ancestry. He was part of a secret mission that changed his life.
I was 18. I had just joined the Army in 1956 in September, and I wasn't in the military a year, and I got picked to go on this thing, and I thought that was fabulous. Boy, we're going to the United States to train with the American forces. That's something.
What Jim didn't know was he was to be used to see how a foot soldier would withstand atomic blasts at close range. In the Nevada desert, during a 2-month period, along with 39 other Canadian soldiers, none wearing protective gear, Huntley saw 5 nuclear bombs explode before his own eyes. One, a hydrogen bomb, was 4 times bigger than the one dropped on Hiroshima.
A deadly radioactive cloud rises over 7 miles.
They told us to turn around and face the other way, and then it went off, and it was unbelievable. You could we had our hands over our eyes and our eyes shut, and you could see your bones in your hand, and you could see right through them, right through everybody that was there. And it sort of got you feeling kind of weird. And then we could see the shock wave coming across the desert at us and knocking over cactus, just like it was a steamroller or something coming. And it hit us, and a lot of guys lost their helmets, some guys fell over, but it was just amazing to see something like that, and the mushroom cloud going up, and the colors were unbelievable. Every color you could think of.
At the end of test days, the soldiers were scanned for radiation.
And then these guys come up to us with these, which look like spacesuits on, white spacesuits with bubble thing on their head. And they had these Geiger counters, and they were going up and down all our guys, and we were ticking like clocks. But these people never said hello, goodbye, nothing, and they walked away. So we waited for the trucks for a while, and finally the trucks came, and the guy was saying, well, we're sorry we're late, but we had to wash them. I said, well, why would you wash the trucks out here? Well, we can't go back through where the scientists were living and all that with any radioactive dust on them. But I thought, well, okay, well, were you going to wash us? No. So we just jumped back to the trucks with all us covered with the dust and ticking and drove right through the same area. So I didn't understand that. And, if they're going to clean everybody off, clean everybody off. They told us that it's a bomb, but don't be scared. The blast will kill you. The heat can kill you. But the radiation is the least your worry. Don't ever worry about radiation. And he picked up a handful of sand and let it fall through, and the wind blew the sand away. And he said, that's what happens to the radiation. So don't worry about radiation.
But the radiation was indeed a killer.
Well, a lot of them lost their teeth. All their teeth fell out. They couldn't wear watches. They have arthritis very bad. And other than that, the ones that got cancer, they're not around anymore. And we had one fellow up in the Whitehorse. He was First Nation, and he ended up with a brain tumor So he blew his head off. Come on!
In 1995, Huntley and 2 others formed an association called the Canadian Atomic Veterans. They started writing letters to the government demanding action to help the survivors.
So after a while, 3 of us got together here in Calgary, and we found out that a lot of our people were gone and died from cancer. So we figured we'll form an association, try to contact everybody that we could get hold of, and then see if we could help them. We've been going over 10 years, 15 years, and we haven't got really anything back from the government yet for that.
In 2007, Huntley was part of a documentary called Time Bombs to raise awareness for their fight. There was even a mention in the House of Commons.
So I'd like the government to stand up in this place, look in that camera, and tell Jim Huntley of Alberta, when will they receive fair and adequate compensation for what happened to them 50 years ago?
Hear, hear.
The Honorable Minister of Veterans.
The government sent Canadian troops to Nevada, to Bikini Atoll, and to Australia.
Lawyer Tony Merchant is known for his work with residential school survivors and is a military man himself. He is helping Huntley and the Canadian Atomic Veterans Association with their fight for recognition and compensation.
The Canadian government has steadfastly refused to pay any compensation. Huge numbers of these people who were so-called atomic veterans, but they were really atomic guinea pigs. They had them wear dosimeters to determine how many radon daughters they had absorbed. They didn't use these things as they're intended, which is to protect the person. Huge numbers of them have died of cancer, and one would think logically came from atomic tests.
This fella has died, this fella has died, and this fella has died.
But 3 years later, and still the government has not satisfied their demands for fair compensation and recognition.
One of the strategies of the government, I believe, has been to delay litigation as long as they can because the victim class is dying off.
Come on, Nini! I won't quit unless they throw me in jail, and they may do that, who knows. But I would still talk when I was in jail about it because it's, you know, they were doing nothing for us for years. We should have been looked after because we could. We did get radiation, and I think once you got radiation, you're just a time bomb waiting to go.
Thanks for joining us. You can see this and all First Story shows on our website. I'm Stephanie Mathias. See you next week.